Home. There's no place like it. It's your castle and where your heart is. What if it became your prison? I'm the Cromulent Archer, and I decided to see how long I could survive Project Zomboid within a single house. This run was inspired by a great video by Ambiguous Amphibian, where he attempted the same thing. I'll put a link to his video so you can check it out when you're done here. During the character creation, I started with the carpentry profession, but then focused on traits with longevity in mind. I took low thirst, light eater to stretch our meager food, and obese so I could stand to lose a few pounds during the lean times. The run itself was basically a vanilla world with the exception of Pillow's random spawn mod. Finding a house to do this run in was probably the most consequential of all the choices I had to make. So I had to run through some options. At first I thought this house would work until I realized it was literally the same house that Ambiguous Amphibian did his series in, so no go. On the next roll of the dice I found a house that I decided would work. The house chosen was a sizable 2-story house. Looking outside, I found that it appeared to be at least somewhat outside the city due to the barn I could see across the field. Being outside the cities should reduce the number of zombie friends that come a-knockin'. I decided that the first task, since I am a red-blooded American, was to plop down and watch some TV. The XP available from the TV shows on Life and Living during the first week or so of the game would be critical to my survival, and I was not about to miss any of them. After the cooking show concluded, it was time to take stock of what the house had to offer. I found a screwdriver and a hammer in a closet, a pipe wrench and a few sheets for the windows in the bathroom. My greatest find in extending the survivability of this run was a packet of cabbage seeds. With the cabbage seeds we could plant to help keep us alive longer. Aside from that, it was a smattering of junk, clothes, and a fairly limited amount of food. Once everything was moved into one location, I also took time to fill every water-storing item I could find in the house. It was likely that the water would stay on for a couple of weeks at least, but I didn't want to take the chance. With all that taken care of, I didn't have much else to do but catch up on my TV shows and go to bed. In the morning on the second day, I woke to find it raining. This seemed like a great opportunity to get some plants in the ground. I decided that since the front porch was under the overhang of the second floor, that it counted as still inside the house. So I had access to the dirt just off the end of the foundation. I didn't have a trowel, so I had to risk injury to my hands by digging the furrows by hand. The rain meant that I didn't have to water the plants, saving me the effort. Our first zombie visitor decided to show up while I was working and received a pipe wrench to the brain as a reward. Day 3 was more TV, more rain, and more zombie friends coming to greet their new neighbor. Day 4 brought starvation. I had been avoiding eating any of our meager food as long as possible, but I had to give in and eat some as it began to take health damage from starvation. On day 5, I planted the last of the plots of cabbage. I had staggered my planting over the last few days in order to also stagger when the cabbages would mature, hopefully allowing for a more consistent supply of food once we were in a 100% cabbage economy. I also decided to do a load of laundry. Things weren't particularly dirty, but the days of having the ability to do laundry were quickly coming to an end, and I wanted to enjoy a bit of civilization. A zombie broke a window during this and had to be handled in my undies. On day 6, I was feeling very fancy, new dress and a big floppy hat. I would later realize that it had squished my mohawk, which was a tragedy. By day 7, the number of shows left in TV land was coming to an end, and so I felt comfortable using the XP I had gained to dismantle some of the furniture. I did a light barricading of the house to deter any more surprise window breakers. Day 8 turned out to be the day I was dreading as the helicopter arrived. I worried that the zombie horde that followed it would be my end, but it didn't turn out to be too bad actually. Day 9 and a couple of Zeds managed to break their way in through my barricades. I dispatched them while one of the final cooking shows played, learning and zombie smashing at the same time. Day 10 came and the TV was finally over. The weather felt like I did, and rained throughout the day. More zombies came to visit as a pile on the porch grew. I began dismantling the furniture in earnest and barricaded more extensively. More zombies showed up on day 11. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you'd like to join the zombie corpse pile that is my channel, please hit that subscribe button. The zombie pile was getting out of hand, so I decided to repurpose one of the bedrooms as corpse storage. Let's not talk about that room. Day 12 was uneventful, but in the early morning hours of day 13, a few zombies came a-knockin'. One of them helpfully brought me a satchel. The first of the cabbages were also ready for harvest. I harvested one patch immediately to help with my starvation, but left the others to grow seeds so I could hopefully replant them in the future. I didn't have to wait long, as the seeds arrived on day 14. Day 15 was quiet, but on the morning of day 16, I stepped outside to find the largest horde I've encountered so far. I was lucky that only half of the horde aggroed me, as I don't think I could have handled the whole group at once. Come on, you can do this. I believe in you. That's one. There's two. Come on, fancy hat, keep me up alive. Come on, fancy hat. All right. Whew. We've certainly made a mess of this room. Is there more out there? Because I would like to deal with them if there are. All right, come here, you. Get a zombie to bring me a bottle of bleach to deal with this mess. Day 17. Dance, zombie. Dance. From here, I was left to my plants and my solitude until day 22, when a zombie showed up for the head smashing. The inevitable arrived the next day, when the water finally cut off. By this point, I was less worried about water, as I discovered that the thirst quench in the cabbages seemed to cover my needs. A single zombie arrived on day 24, and then the era of true solitude set in. Aside from the power going out on day 27, I had no more visitors for many days. I harvested and planted my crops as needed, filled my pots when it rained, and otherwise stood quietly on the porch and watched the clouds go by to stave off boredom. The lack of refrigeration meant that I was now eating old cabbages regularly, and a deep sadness set in. At this point, I also began to notice that despite my full belly, my weight continued to drop. It seemed my all-cabbage diet couldn't keep up. Day 41 and the loneliness almost overtook me. I yelled into the void, hoping even a zombie would come and break the monotony of my existence. On day 42, I removed my floppy hat to discover how much my hair had grown. As day 45 approached, I was left with a conundrum. Watch my weight slowly drop until I starve, or attempt an escape. I chose escape. Another house was mere yards away. If I could construct a bridge there, I might find enough food to stop my slow starvation. I collected all the wood and nails I could find in the house and began what I hoped would be my escape path to the next house. At the beginning of this challenge, I would have told you that wood would be my ultimate bottleneck when it came to resources, but as I built my bridge, I discovered it was a lack of nails that doomed me. I only made it about 2/3 of the way there. I dismantled what little furniture there was left in the house, but I still couldn't get the nails I needed. Defeated, I returned to my prison and ate a sad cabbage. When I awoke on day 46, sad, lonely, I heard a noise downstairs. It seemed that my escape attempt had not gone unnoticed by the Zomboid gods, because death awaited me. I bobbed and weaved, but the horde of undead was too much for me. At least I wouldn't have to eat any more of the damn cabbage, because now brains were on the menu. I'd like to thank all my patrons, who are all my happy little cabbages. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, helps out a great deal. Consider subscribing. If you want to see more in the future, I am, as always, the Crummy Little Archer. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much.